high five!
You got a good basin here?
I don't know. Oh, that tree is... Yeah, let's go, let's go.
That twister didn't just mow down homes, it also plowed through the area's largest business, the Friday canning plant.
However, as you can see, they continue to rebuild here, getting bigger and stronger than ever, maintaining its strong roots in the community. Robin Young shows us more.
It was a mess. Near the beginning of its rendezvous across town, the tornado ground through the warehouse at Friday Canning. Millions of cans were sent in all directions. To make matters worse, the canning season was just around the corner.
Maybe we can get the plant up and running temporarily to handle the 15,000 acres of corn that will be maturing within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We'd like to be able to save the pack.
The livelihood of seasonal workers and farmers was on the line, and the company faced an overwhelming cleanup. Just think about it, a Category 5 tornado blowing through a warehouse full of millions of cans. It really demonstrated the power of that twister. These were found literally miles away. In fact, farmers had to scour their fields or risk getting cans caught in their equipment.
When I seen it, I said, oh my God, I don't believe what has happened. The plant's gone. I don't even know if I have a job.
Virginia has worked for Friday Canning for 30 years. She's not alone in her longevity at the plant. Generations of Oakfield natives have earned paychecks here.
We plan on starting towards the end of July.
Although operations resumed last summer in the building still standing, it has hardly been business as usual, but it's getting there. A new warehouse and offices are under construction.
I was real interested in the fact that they were rebuilding. That shows the strength of the company. They had the tenacity, I guess, to rebuild and keep going. A lot of people aren't doing that.
The new warehouse is to be finished by September. In the meantime, they're preparing for another canning season. The signs are out for workers. DeBoom says they'll be running at full capacity, canning 2 million cases of corn, employing 120 seasonal workers, carrying on an Oakfield tradition.
It's a very close atmosphere. Everybody works good together. A lot of people are related. It's real close.
The entire village is a mix and match of old and new. It's quite evident where the tornado hit.
All you have to do is take a look around and you can find new structures that are replacing homes and businesses destroyed by the tornado.
Mother Nature's fury hit Oakfield especially hard.
In fact, the tornado increased its strength as it moved through this village. Our meteorologist Cameron Moreland takes a look at the path of the storm.
Of the 6 twisters that ripped across Fond du Lac County on July 18th, 1996, the tornado that devastated the village of Oakfield was the strongest. In fact, it was the strongest since the Barneville tornado in 1984 and one of the most powerful to ever hit the state.
We knew when we both walked in the door, at 7:30 in the morning, that we had an explosive situation. No question about it. It was a type of atmosphere that was capable of producing supercell thunderstorms, which are the granddaddy of all thunderstorms.
Here's how the tornado formed. With abundant moisture in place, plenty of sunshine heating the ground, creating an unstable environment, and a cold front plowing across the western part of the state, thunderstorms begin to rapidly develop and move towards eastern Wisconsin.
By looking at that, we were very excited and concerned about the potential of these storms. And once we started getting the reports, in a way we were relieved that, thank God, this classic storm was producing what we expected. But we also, sort of concerned about, the people in the path of the storm.
The thunderstorm that would eventually produce the Oakfield tornado began as a weak rain shower in Adams County. Intensifying quickly as it moved southeast, the storm spawned the infamous tornado at 7:05 p.m., about 4 miles west-northwest of town. Don Lloyd, a trained storm chaser from North Fond du Lac, watched the tornado as it ripped across the countryside.
Well, this was definitely the biggest tornado I've ever seen, and I have seen plenty down in the plains, but nothing of this magnitude at all. This was the tornado itself, the storm itself wasn't incredibly impressive. I've seen far better looking thunderstorms down, supercell thunderstorms down in the plains, but this tornado was incredible. At one point, it was just spewing out tons of debris.
The tornado moved east, striking Oakfield at 7:18 p.m. with winds in excess of 200 miles per hour. The tornado hit town as an F4 and grew stronger as it moved through Oakfield. The F rating is the Fujita wind damage scale. It assigns wind speeds to tornadoes based on the damage it produces. F0 being the weakest and F5 the strongest.
After all was said and done, the Oakfield tornado had some damage which revealed F5 on the scale, which means winds could have exceeded 260 miles an hour. And that occurred on the east side of the town of Oakfield.
As the tornado strengthened to F5 status, the damage it left in its wake reached incredible proportions. Houses were completely knocked off foundations, and automobiles became airborne missiles being tossed hundreds of feet. Finally, after traveling 13 miles and remaining on the ground for a half an hour, the tornado dissipated 1 mile northwest of Eden. The storm continued to move southeastward, scattering debris along the shores of Lake Michigan. Oakfield residents canceled checks and ended up 125 miles away in Muskegon, Michigan.
The weather system which brought the severe weather here last night.
When all was said and done, 60 homes and 6 businesses were destroyed, and more than 130 homes and businesses were damaged. Property damage reached nearly $40 million, with an additional $900,000 in crop damage.
The fact that no one was seriously injured or got killed by that storm is really amazing.
The tornado destroyed 2 churches here in Oakfield. One of those churches was right behind us, the Methodist Church. This church is now being rebuilt, and it's being rebuilt to withstand winds up to 200 miles an hour.
For the past year, it's been particularly hard on the parishioners here. They've held their services somewhere else. But this is just another sign they're putting their lives back together. Amy Freeman has our report.
They gather here every Sunday. The people of Oakfield United Methodist Church say they are more dedicated than ever to prayer,
Our Father, who art in heaven,
and to each other.
We are one big family.
Thy kingdom come.
But this church is not their own. They've rented it for the past year. Their church is only a memory now. Ironically, it was destroyed by what many consider an act of God, an awesome natural disaster that ripped through Oakfield last July.
Oakfield has just been devastated.
I said, how is the church? And he said, what church?
The small church, more than 100 years old, was ground zero for the tornado. Everything was lost, including the pastor's home right across the street. Although the congregation was devastated,
my father was buried from that church.
They believe a miracle saved everyone here from injury.
We are here today because you held us then and hold us now.
I think God was smiling down on Oakfield. That's the only explanation I have.
Let me tell you, I praised the Lord a lot that night.
But with devastation comes new beginnings. You can see this is where the old church used to stand. But now, 12 months after the tornado, United Methodist Church is starting to rebuild.
This is going to be the sanctuary.
Pastor Thad Rudder says the new church will allow him to offer more to the congregation. It will have a community room, a library, a youth room, all things the old church didn't have. He says starting over is a wonderful opportunity, but at a terrible price.
You go through something like this, and it's obviously it's numbing.
Although the last year has been difficult for the people here, they agree the tornado didn't take everything. In fact, it gave them something very special, an overwhelming sense of unity.
There has been more love flowing, friendship, togetherness. Oh, it's just brought this whole community much, much closer together. Oakfield has always been a wonderful place to live, but now it's a place you call home.
When we come back, we're going to take a look at the future of Oakfield.
Plus, find out how the village's children are remembering and dealing with that day, July 18th, and the aftermath.